Yamaha's 2021 season is one that will certainly be remembered for quite a few different reasons. It started out well with Rossi making it 3 Yamahas in the top 4 on the grid for the opening race of the season, thanks to a little help from good friend Pecco Bagnaia. As the factory boys set sail from the front row, the race would turn out to go the way of Maverick Vinales, eventually racing clear to take victory. Little did we know that would be his last win in full factory blue. Fast forward a week and we were back under the lights in Qatar for what proved to be a classic. In a change of fortunes from the week before, this time it was Quartararo that eventually rode home to victory, even coming from as low as 9th place at one point. But the Doha GP was special as it was the closest top 15 finish in Premier Class history, a sure sign that Yamaha weren't going to have it all their own way in 2021. But for now, the good times continued as MotoGP returned to Europe. Yamaha were in dreamland once more. And not only did Morbidelli take a fine 4th, but Quartararo conquered all, with that being the first time Yamaha won the first 3 races of the season since 2010. But in Jerez, there wouldn't be a 4th. Arm pump struck Quartararo in lap 13, causing him to drop from a 1.4 second lead all the way to a very painful 13th place. Completely helpless, Quartararo would later have surgery to limit the problem. But while one faltered, another flourished as Morbidelli picked up his first podium of the season. But for Morbidelli, that was about as good as 2021 got in terms of results. A nasty knee injury was made worse after this slip during a bike swap in France, which was only later made to look more painful during the race. And on the topic of bike swaps, Quartararo wasn't so slick either, as he encountered a penalty for stopping at teammate Vinales' box during the flag-to-flag bike change, something we're sure he forgot all about after he took his first wet weather MotoGP podium. Onwards to the beautiful Mugello and the Doctor's last trip to the Tuscan hills. Once again, Quartararo would steal the headlines, racing from pole position to first place, but that weekend, the thoughts of all were with the much-loved and missed Jason de Pasquier. The Catalan GP saw another incident out of Quartararo's control. While chasing race leader Miguel Oliveira, a malfunction with his levers saw him eject his chest protector, which led to him dropping to 3rd before a 3-second penalty further dropped the Frenchman to 6th. After a blistering start to the 2021 season in Qatar, Vinales' first half of the year wasn't exactly what he'd expected, particularly after an out-of-character 19th place in Germany. Fast forward to Assen, and American Garrett Gerloff filled in for the injured Morbidelli as Vinales appeared to return to form. Starting from his only pole position of the season, he went on to race to 2nd place just behind teammate Quartararo, but the tone was bitter, and when we returned from the summer break in Austria, Yamaha's crazy side of 2021 really ramped up a level. After what was deemed as irregular operation of the motorcycle, Vinales was suspended by Yamaha with immediate effect, and a little over a week later, the pair agreed to mutually part ways, meaning the Styrian GP was the last time we saw Vinales in full factory blue. At the British GP, the Brits were back. Test rider Cal Cutro filled in at the factory seat, and Moto2's Jake Dixon had his Premier Class debut. But cool, calm and collected, Quartararo cruised home to what would actually be his last win of the season. At the San Marino GP, Andrea Dovizioso returned, and so did Franco Morbidelli, with a well-deserved upgrade to the factory team. Quartararo raced to 2nd place behind Bagnaia in Misano, and then took another 2nd place on MotoGP's return to Austin, all of which set up his first title opportunity at the Emilia-Romagna GP. Starting for 15th on the grid, Quartararo charged to 4th, crowning himself as the MotoGP World Champion for 2021. He becomes the first French Premier Class World Champion and Yamaha's first for 6 years. But as Yamaha's latest champion opened his account in the history books, their most famous champion finished his final chapter. Valentino Rossi, now officially a MotoGP legend, called time on arguably the greatest MotoGP story that's ever been told. With one last dance in Valencia, the Doctor said goodbye to the sport he loves so much. With 432 starts, 235 podiums, 115 wins, championships with Aprilia, Honda and Yamaha, it's possible we may never see a career the likes of it ever again. The fans watched on as Rossi and Yamaha rounded out a truly monumental 2021 season.